Hey Collective, it is Crowquette Tarot, aka Zoe, back to you again with a pick a card reading. And this reading is timeless, but the day I'm filming this is a Scorpio full moon. So I'm definitely feeling that energy. You know, whenever you stumble upon this, whether it be today or later, I feel like a lot of Scorpios will be drawn to this reading, or just if you have any Scorpio placements in your big three, Sun, Moon, Rising, that might come into play. And kind of in that intuitive, dark, feminine energy of Scorpio, um, you know, each sign technically is masculine or feminine, just in like a yin yang sense, not in a gender sense. But Scorpio is that dark feminine sign. It's very intuitive, secretive, but very loyal and passionate. And I'm in that energy right now, and I am a Scorpio moon. And so it felt fitting to do a reading on your intuitive abilities, your witchy side, your power, your like witchy intuitive power. So if that sounds interesting to you, then make sure to stick around for your reading. We will have 3 piles. The first pile will be Amethyst. The second pile will be purple agate. And the third pile will be garnet. And you might see in the reflection of my glasses a little bit, I have a candle going for the collective just for protective energy and to call upon y'all's highest good. So with that being said, you will find timestamps in the description and the comments for whatever crystal/pile you chose, and I'll see you there. All right, pile number 1. So if you chose amethyst, then this is your pile. And I'm going to start, as I often do, with rolling some astro dice to see what placements y'all have, besides Scorpio, of course, because I said that in the intro. So Spirit, for pile number 1, can we get some confirmations with these astro dice? All right, we have the moon, which is also Cancer. We have 12, which is Pisces. So very watery energy so far with Cancers and Pisces. And then we have Aries. So Aries, Pisces, and Cancer could be one of your big 3 signs, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You could also have, for example, Moon in the 12th house or Aries in the 12th house or an Aries Moon. You know, definitely feel free to kind of put the energy where it fits in these readings, but don't be discouraged if that's not you. You can stick around, and if this doesn't feel like your pile, I'd encourage you to go back to the beginning and pick another pile or hop to a next reading if this isn't the one for you. So with that being said, we have the moon, we have Pisces and Aries, and now I'm going to go ahead and do some tarot. Well, do I want to start out with tarot or oracle? I'll do tarot. Okay. And I have some fun decks I'm using today for you guys. Yeah, we're gonna get out my Tarot of the Unexplained. I love this deck. It's inspired by cryptids, and it's just kind of weird and strange and fun, and I don't get it out enough, and it was asking for me to play with it today, so I'm going to. So let's start off your reading about your witchy intuitive powers. So for pile number 1, Spirit, tap me into pile number 1's energy and their magical gifts, their intuitive powers. Please, Spirit, pile number 1. Whoa, those came out fast. We have the Skeptic of Knockers, which is the King of Wands in the traditional tarot. We have the Four of Portals, which is the Four of Cups in traditional tarot. Let me show you that King of Wands card too. And you've got the Five of Saucers, which is the Five of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. I am really drawn to this card right now. There's just like a lone person, and you see a constellation up in the sky, and they're just standing alone. It feels very kind of isolating. Like, it's making me think of someone who is tapped in to the other worlds, the underworld. I heard, so maybe some of you work with underworld deities. Doesn't have to be for everyone. And listening, I'm hearing something about clairaudience. There definitely could be some clairaudience in this pile. I also am picking up on Stranger Things. That could be a synchronicity for someone. And also saucers or pentacles. I mean, in this case, instead of pentacles, it's saucers. So we're thinking aliens and UFOs. So you could have guides that are non-human, or, other timelines where you're not human, or on this earth. That can mean different things for everybody. We'll get more into it. And with the skeptic of knockers, when I hear the word skeptic, like, even though the knockers are wands, with this older man, it's making me think of, like, the phrase, like, off your rocker, even though it's knockers. Like, I just keep hearing off your rocker. So I think what that is maybe a nod to an older man in your life, or perhaps even an ancestor, someone that's passed on, that was kind of poking fun, like, that maybe used to not really take you seriously when you talked more from, like, an intuitive space and shared your dreams or things like this, for example. And it's just kind of this energy of this person being kind of like, yeah, you're weird, you get it, like, you were tapped into something I don't understand. Like, it's coming from, like, an understanding and peaceful place, and kind of finding humor in kind of the human experience we're all having here. There's just some kind of joining energy together of really otherworldly, even like some non-human deities or entities, with you and your family, like your bloodline, kind of meeting together. And there's something about this is kind of getting weird. Like, I'm picturing like a bloodline, but like not abducted by aliens, but like merging with them. And I know aliens can symbolize a lot here. It's like joining forces, but joining forms. Yeesh. So I just feel like there could be, like, in your bloodline, there's a new kind of truce with another kind of energy or race, even. I know this is getting a little out there, but it's just what's happening, and I'm going with it. And then with the Four of Cups, and this card is so fascinating. I showed you with first of all, there's the moon phases on these cards, and this one is speaking to me. It's like half full, Four of Cups, and I'm hearing the phrase half empty. So okay, because with the Four of Cups, a word you often hear with that card is apathy, or boredom, or kind of discontent. And in the context of like intuitive abilities and things like this, I'm getting the sense that you might be blocked from some of them right now. Not necessarily by fault of your own, but there is kind of a gradual, like, melting of the ice, so to speak, of like becoming more receptive to spirit and developing these abilities. And I think a lot of it actually has to do with your environment. I think spirit is being kind of gentle with you, because it feels like, especially because some of your abilities seem to be like, related to the senses, like clairaudience, for example. You also might be someone who can get overstimulated, or maybe just kind of closed off, like when you're feeling really, I'm literally seeing someone just being kind of overwhelmed and like covering their ears. And so I get the sense that you have these gifts, but spirit is kind of teaching you not just to listen, but just to be in spaces where you can and like self-regulate and like have you pay attention to the environments you're in, like people you're living with or places you go and how you feel. Because I do think, and especially with the Five of Saucers, like standing alone, like I do feel like it's kind of like when someone's like alone in a field in like an alien movie and they get abducted, but like no one's around. Like it's not in a scary way. It's literally just like, it feels like sometimes spirit has to get you alone to give you messages. And it's a very loving, beautiful thing, but it doesn't have to be that way. There just might be some blockages. And I do think for some of you, you've been feeling called to shed, and this fits in with the Scorpio full moon energy I was talking about earlier, is to shed what doesn't serve you, purge, any stagnant energy, anything that's been bubbling up. And also with the ice, I know I'm going really into these tarot cards, but a lot's coming to my head. With this ice here and this gradual melting of the ice, it's also making me think frozen in time. So that could mean different things as well. I almost wonder if some of you, I'm hearing past life and like stuck on a past life, but I think that doesn't have to be like literal, like, just like these unconscious behaviors we carry through and like karmic experiences and lessons we're meant to learn here. It's not bad. It's just like, it's kind of that energy of staying in your comfort zone. And there's just something about you taking a pause for a while. And hold on, I'm trying to catch up with what's happening, like what I'm picking up on. Okay, so freeze, and then I'm trying to understand the melting part with that. This feels so mystical and otherworldly, like literally, like it just feels, some of you could have past lives with, I heard Atlantis, so that could be like some kind of topic that's of interest to some, like you might be interested in Atlantis, but I'm also getting a past life that involves like a death in the water. Like I'm picking up on someone who might be scared of drowning, or maybe there's like a past life where someone drowned or just they lost their life in the water or near the water. I'm also getting imagery of like the dark sea and like the depths, and that's giving me very Scorpio energy as well. And like, what's crazy is, how so much of the there's so much of the sea we just haven't seen. We don't know what's down there. It gets so dark in the depths. There's still species of animals we're discovering. I've always been fascinated in this type of thing. So that's why I'm kind of perked up when Spirit started showing me that. I was like, this is of interest to me. But there are a lot of people that wonder and theorize, and this is like kind of getting into conspiracy theory territory, so please take this with a grain of salt. But I do know some people kind of wonder if there's some kind of extraterrestrial beings down there, like non-humans, because it's just like we don't have access to that space. Is there what haven't we discovered down there, and are they human? And while they might be showing me this to give a nod to your connection to some sort of like dark sea being, I think it's more of like a symbolic thing where it's like, it just seems like there's been some past lives for one, or past experiences that are very murky. Like in your subconscious, it just feels like you could just go down so far and you'd still be discovering things, not just about your past in this lifetime, like trauma, things like this, but it feels like when it comes to your spirituality and your intuitive gifts, there's just like it goes way back. There's a lot to unravel. It just feels like this life is the part of like a bigger ocean, so to speak. Like it feels like, you know, the ocean feels like the biggest and most expansive thing in the world, but there's more than one of them. And like I'm like just feeling like I'm zooming out, and it's just like spirit's kind of showing me like, imagine like all of the oceans in one oceans and then triple it by blah blah blah. Like it's, there's just some like really intense water energy here, and also just like a need for you to recognize how eternal life is, you know, regardless of life and death, like just the universe. If you believe in a world bigger than this, as I do, great. But even if you're just like, even if we're just grounding ourselves a bit and getting less woo woo, even though you're in a tarot reading, I don't think y'all mind woo woo, but sometimes I go really hard and I'm like, Zoe. but it just feels like a reminder that you are very powerful. You have a lot to bring to the table. But because we're humans having a human experience, we're never going to understand everything. And I think that there's something about spirit wanting you to trust that your gifts matter, your purpose in this world matters. You're picking up, and I think like some of what's going on with the blockages is you're picking up on a lot of energies at the same time while having a lot going on in your subconscious. There just might be a need to do some shadow work right now and like prioritize sleep and things, because it's really easy to kind of get muddled up in our spiritual journey and our intuitive journey. So yeah, that was like a huge ramble, but there's a lot of good stuff coming out for y'all, pile number ones. And you chose the amethyst, which is such a beautiful healing energy, and it also really makes me think of sleep. A lot of people use amethyst to aid in their sleep and their dreams because it's very effective as like a calming, soothing crystal. So I'm definitely getting the energy that y'all might even get downloads in your sleep or get messages in dreams. So take that as you will. And of course, there's so much purple in these cards, but not all of them. Like all the cards you got were purple with the purple sky. I really like that. So purple is a big color for you guys. And that's also the color of the crown chakra. It's like a very high vibrational spiritual color. So there's that too. That just goes to show you are very spiritually gifted, pile number one. So I'm going to get a couple more tarot and then we'll get some oracles. Okay. That was fast. It's always pretty fast around here. Okay, so fan of portals, which is the Page of Cups in the traditional tarot. And I love, this card is so fascinating to me because it's someone like reaching into a void. And then there's another, I think it might be the Knight of Portals that like references the other side. Like there's a hand reaching out and we can't see that person, but we see it later. But anyway, fan of portals. And then we have the Eight of Saucers, which is also the Eight of Pentacles. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. This card is so interesting to me with the Eight of Saucers because one of these lights coming down of the saucers is a tree and the other light coming down is on a human. And to me, that's speaking to the fact that it speaks to soul evolution to me, and you know, being one with the earth. You know, trees are living beings just like we are. They have energy. We're all connected to source, and there's almost like a message to me about, it could be a few things. It could be speaking to some kind of family tradition or lineage that could be associated with trees. Like because this feels very like familial and ancestral to me. Like they're like the symbol of a tree could be really important in your family or your culture. I'm getting like the tree of life in Celtic mythology, for example. But then I'm hearing like a past life as a tree. Like I think it's possible before we were all humans, we've had lives, or we were trees or bugs or animals. And, you know, whether you believe in that or not, totally up to you. But it's kind of giving me that energy of like having walked a lot of different lives, or oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that when it's like a tree. Stood like a tree in a different life. I don't know. I'm also getting earth sign energy. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm just getting the energy of someone who's experienced being on earth in different forms. And that doesn't have to be literally a tree, okay? This could mean a lot, but I'm just like specifically drawn to the tree in that card. And with the Fan of Portals, the Page of Cups, of course, I'm getting... I mean, with reaching into the void like that, it does feel like you can access other timelines, or, and again, because the dreams, I'm really getting that you can access different timelines in dreams. Perhaps you can reach other people in dreams, like you can communicate, especially with those who have passed on, or versions of you or people you know in different timelines. Like it, I'm really getting the feeling that you have the ability to access different timelines, to astral travel. And on the bottom deck, I saw this earlier, Fan of Ghosts, which is the Page of Swords. And she's holding a book. It's like she wrote a book. It's called Ghosts. So that's giving me the energy. Okay, that's actually wild. Okay, so some of you could write a book one day about your spiritual experience. That's obviously going to be maybe one or two of you. But in general, I wonder if your interest with spirituality and occult started with things like ghost stories when you were a kid, or supernatural. Like you could have a connection to supernatural things and an interest in it. That's just coming to me. Also, some of you could be horror lovers. Some of y'all could be writers. Some of y'all could like to read. Okay, now I'm going to get a couple moonology cards. All right, Spirit. What are pile number one's intuitive abilities, please? Conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. Okay, eclipse of the sun energy, y'all. You are an eclipse. That's crazy to get in like a intuitive gift reading. So very powerful, very potent. The ability to change lives, I'm hearing. I mean, that's just really powerful. Some of y'all could feel more invigorated or connected spiritually during like a solar or lunar eclipse. I know a lot of people freak out about eclipse energy. That's like, oh my God, like, don't charge your crystals in it or whatever. It's like, I personally don't buy into all the, it feels like people really use scare tactics and like to freak people out with certain forms of astrology that are more layered or like harder to understand or work with. I think that you're a powerhouse, and I think that you have a lot of power to literally like make changes. Like I'm picturing things like weather magic or manifestation, or I guess like spells, if you're a witch, that require more power and focus. It feels like, you know, say you could have an event coming up you're really excited about and you're like, I hope it doesn't rain. I just feel like by you like speaking that out loud or just thinking it, like to your luck it won't rain, like things like that Spirit is kind of like, you know, like, you called it. You also could be the person that predicts things before it happens, or like knows what someone is going to say. Like this is a very psychically strong pile. I'm really hyping y'all up because this is dope. Okay, look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. Okay, so there could be some Saggies here, some Sagittarius people and their big three, sun, moon, and rising. North Node I'm hearing as well. I'm getting Artemis. I'm also getting Hecate. I'm getting the Morrigan. I'm getting Chiron, like the asteroid in astrology. Something about the Hunger Games as well. Like with Katniss and the bow, just sometimes I just think of that, of course. I'm getting that something about you planning certain events that happen in your life, whether that means you literally are like a wedding or an event planner as a career, or in a more metaphysical sense, you could have taken a really crucial role in your life plan. If you believe that we go into our lives, you know, that if you believe in like the Akashic records and basically having a plan for each life, like a blueprint, so to speak, I'm seeing you being the type of, like, it feels like you have the authority to write out your own life plan, or it's hard to explain. It just feels like you have the kind of spiritual authority to take on the lessons you desire to learn. I'm getting that some of you might be the type of person to really just dive into something head first. Or this could just be your energy going into this life. I don't know. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. So Spirit is sending you signs right now, and you're definitely manifesting some answers about your own individual spiritual, like intuitive identity. You know, you might be connecting with ancestors through dreams. You might come across a book that kind of activates something in you. Like, there's just something about understanding where you come from more in a spiritual sense, especially when it comes to your ancestors. Okay, Spirit, can I get a lost oracle about their intuitive? Ooh! Enchantment, use your words consciously. Okay, so this is giving your word as your wand. You could have like a manifestation journal. You could have a grimoire. But even outside of in a magical sense, there's so much magic in just your writing in general, or speaking, like if you're a public speaker or a writer, or if what you do on your day-to-day basis involves communicating, that's just coming through as a big part of your soul journey. But mostly just because it's about your intuitive gifts and your powers, it does feel like any spells you write, you know, any incantations, things like this are very powerful. Your words themselves are powerful. I think people remember what you say, and sometimes even if they don't realize that at the time, they'll remember later and be like, oh my God, they were right. That kind of thing. And on the bottom, you have Midnight Brew, the alchemy of you. Yeah. Powerful. And we're gonna, I say top it off. We're gonna finish it off with the my personal message deck that I made, and then we're gonna read a poem from the Poet's Tarot, and then we'll be done. So for pile number 1, Spirit, tell me about their intuitive gifts. Successful spell work came out right away. Very powerful when it comes to spells. Dragon. Some of you could be Year of the Dragon. You could connect with dragons, like in mythology, or some of you could like to play Dungeons and Dragons, I just heard. Ooh, cards are getting a little messy. Okay. Pile number 1, Spirit. I'm a star, you can't dull my shine, period. So, you're a star in Spirit's eyes. We love to hear that. I can't take that many. I dropped like 20 cards. Okay, narcissist. Okay, so, and that kind of speaks to going back to the Four of Portals for me. So I think that some of your blockages when it comes to your intuitive gifts was having experienced things like gaslighting or narcissistic abuse. This is very heavy stuff, and I don't know if that'll apply to everyone, but for who it does, I'm with you. I've experienced narcissistic abuse as well. It's one of the most damaging things you can go through for the psyche. But believe in your power and believe in your gifts. I do think that when you're more intuitive and sensitive, those types of really evil, negative energies can pick up on that, right? Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Uninvited. Yeah, so those kind of people are uninvited in your energy. I think Spirit has really assisted in protecting you in that way. Speed run. Okay, something about this life being a speed run for you spiritually. Fallen angel. Interesting. Some of you could relate to that archetype. Some of you could be experimenting with underworld energies right now. Some of you could be earth angels. Some of you could be the black sheep in your family. I get one more, Spirit. I'll leave you. Pay attention to signs from your angels. Well, that's a lovely card to finish off with. Your angels are definitely communicating with you. And because you're clairaudient, remember that. Try and listen in. So I'm going to finish off by flipping to a poem in this book for you. So for pile number 1, for a last message for them, help me channel something for them, Spirit. Knight of Gold. So this is Knight of Pentacles in traditional tarot. Feel the life on your horse's neck as you caress it. With all your offensive and defensive weapons, you know you could not go on without your horse, with just your strength. And now you know you have to go on, yes, now that you have all your weapons and have come out into the fields having declared your mission. But even though you have a road to follow, the road you yourself have chosen, yeah, this really speaks to earlier I said, like, something about taking a really important role in mapping out your life and planning this current life you're in on a soul level. Okay, let me go back. But even though you have a road to follow, the road you yourself have chosen, you feel puzzled and open to the world. You know that your mission will no longer tell you whether to turn right or left, and you don't know who might come to your encounter. You might dismount and kneel before a solitary flower between patches of receding snow, or raise your visor when you see a shepherd, and with your helmet offer him a drink of fresh water from the stream, or you will spur your horse against another knight. Your path is full of turns and adventures, yet it is as if you have made your path and brought about all its jolts and wonder, and invited all the intrusions and discoveries. Your path eternal in its every moment, your passing, your alongness and aloneness, taking you where you are to go, enriched with the hope of reaching the castle that is your home. I love this for y'all. I don't always comment after the poem, but this really gives energy, your whole pile of the world being your oyster, you having planned this being your show, like you being the master of your own life, that kind of energy, all right? So trust yourself, because Spirit trusts you, and I love you. Bye. Hi, pile number 2s. So if you chose this purple agate, then this will be your message about your intuitive abilities, your psychic gifts, your witchy powers, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to start off, as always, with these astro dice to see if we can get some clarification from Spirit to what your signs may be. We have Pisces, we have Saturn, which is also Capricorn, and we have 3, which is also Gemini. So we have Gemini, Capricorn, Pisces. You could also have a Pisces Saturn. You could have Saturn in the 3rd house or Pisces in the 3rd house. Feel free to apply the energy where it fits. Only take what resonates, of course. So we are going to get into your reading now. And I'm going to start off with the Unexplained Tarot and we'll see what pops out. Okay, so let me move these a little bit. All right, Spirit, for pile number 2, tell me about their intuitive abilities and their gifts. Okay, Advocate of Saucers. So that is it's the Queen. Yeah, it's the Queen. So this would be the Queen of Pentacles in traditional tarot. There we go. What else? We have the Fan of Saucers, which would be the Page of Pentacles. I love that purple hair. So some of you could have purple hair or dyed hair, colored hair in general. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Knockers, which is the Three of Wands. Okay, so it feels like you're on a mission. It feels like, I heard you've seen shit. Because this woman is clearly pointing to this saucer, there's an acknowledgement of entities or energies that are not of this world that you feel you've experienced. Some of you could feel like you've seen something supernatural or have received a message from Spirit that was really hard to deny. Like it feels like the energy of a person who has their eyes wide open and is very open to other energies and possibilities in this universe, if that makes sense. But with also, of course, with the 2 saucers, aka Pentacles here, we could have a lot of earth signs here. And then the Hollow Earth. Interesting. It feels like in this lifetime, you're completing some kind of mission. Some of y'all could really like the occult. Some of y'all could have a lot of tattoos. I'm getting a lot of feminine energy here. Or perhaps those who, like creatives, people who are into art, tattoo artists even, those into makeup or in, perhaps even being in the beauty industry. There's just a lot about that coming through for some reason. I'm feeling called to read about the Hollow Earth card from the deck, just because, as I said, I don't know too much about the Hollow Earth theory, and I'm not sure what the creator of this deck was intending with this card. Upright, a sense of accomplishment, finishing a master work. Phenomena, finding strange caves, portals, hidden doors, or openings. Okay. So some of y'all could be going through a portal right now or have kind of shifted timelines and things like this. But it says, the hollow earth floats in space surrounded by the 4 constellations, Aquarius, Scorpio, Virgo, and Leo. Like the hoop snake, this is a card of cycles and renewal. Allegedly, the hollow earth can be accessed via various entry points and portals along lines within so-called bottomless pits and from the poles. This card represents perfection and attainment, and proponents of the hollow earth theory believe that there is a perfect other world inside our visible one. Okay. You are reaching a state of perfection in yourself or in a project you are completing. It is a huge undertaking, but the results are more than you could have ever dreamt of. If you are asked to travel, then this is an excellent time to do so, especially overseas. So yeah, some of y'all could be traveling soon, but obviously the bigger message here, it's kind of what I was picking on before, and the 3 of Wands on the bottom kind of spoke to that for me. Like, you're on a mission, and it does feel like you're completing a lot of really important cycles on a soul level in this life right now, which does give you access to messages from Spirit and signs, because this life you're living here to complete the cycles is important, and Spirit is really here to aid you in that process, whatever that means for you. So you are connected with the spirit realm in that way, because this life has a big significance to your soul evolution, and perhaps I'm seeing kind of like a web, like branching off into other beings. I also am seeing a web like in like science or biology, like one of those like web maps things that you do in school. I can't remember exactly what it's called or what I'm talking about. Maybe someone in the comments will tell me so I Don't feel stupid right now. But yeah, there's this energy of, I'm hearing important life form. Something about animals, especially because I was thinking of biologies, coming up as being important. As you're completing these life missions, you're nourishing other beings too. So it's kind of like, it feels like you might be leaving a legacy in some type of way, which makes your gifts even more important because you have people to help. I'm getting more so than people, animals or plants and things. Like, it feels like you're very connected to the earth and other living beings, and that being important to your abilities. Like, maybe some of you feel very intuitively connected to animals or plants. I'm gonna get a couple more, or one more came out, so I'll take that. The 9 of Knockers, which is the 9 of Wands. Yeah, that's definitely just affirming the energy for me of finishing business in this life. You're almost done. It's this will show up differently for all of you, but just know, if you picked this pile, that you are completing a lot of important cycles in this lifetime, and it's going to lead you into a new stage of soul evolution when you pass on, going to the next life. Like, this is marking the end of a journey you've been on before and other lives you've lived. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And on the bottom, you have Skeptic of Portals, which is also the King of Cups. So yeah. This feels like more of a guide. Yeah, this definitely feels like a guide. So you could have a passed on loved one, an older passed on loved one, or maybe even someone here on it. Like, I'm just getting like wisdom from an elder, but it feels very spiritual. So you could have a spiritual elder in your life, or this could be an ancestor or like a passed on loved one that is very close. I'm getting like almost guardian angel kind of vibes. Okay, so there's that. Next, I'm going to pull some moon cards. So for pile number 2, Spirit, what are their intuitive abilities? A time to give rather than to take. New moon in Virgo. There's so much earth energy here. I think there's a lot of earth signs. And this card with the green and like the Mother Gaia energy is definitely making me think more of the animals and plants things, like giving back to the earth. Like, in this life, you're meant to be of service to others, or but especially, like, I'm hearing steward of the earth and like environmentalist. Yeah, it's very beautiful stuff. Some of y'all could be vegetarians or vegans. You could be passionate about different causes. Like, you could, for example, donate or volunteer to help organizations like nonprofits to help with things like global warming. Could mean all sorts of different things. Okay, could I get one more, Spirit, for pile number 2 about their intuitive abilities, please, Spirit? There we go. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. Interesting. I just got this interesting message about this card. First of all, both of these are new moons. So you could have been born under a new moon, or you could be more spiritually powerful in that time. New moons are great times to manifest and set intentions, plant seeds, so to speak. It's the beginning of new cycles. And that's interesting, because I was kind of talking about finishing cycles this lifetime, but you have a lot of power in new moons. And I think that I'm hearing renewable energy. So take that as you will. I think that speaks to like your spirit, your heart, even like you're a very renewable energy you are. And with you and your loved ones are safe, I think that your presence is so high vibrational and protected that it affects other people around you. Like, it's kind of like your guides are saying, we keep you safe, so those who are around you are safe because they kind of have to be because they're in your proximity, and we keep harm out of your way. Like, it's that type of energy. Not that other people don't have the protection and help. I just feel like your guides are also just kind of assuring you that you're safe and okay right now. It feels like some of you might have been feeling anxious or sad, on edge, and I definitely think that this pile, you guys, my pile number 2s, kind of need to hear that you are safe and that your guides love you, and you've only taken on what you can handle. I'm getting, like, Spirit has faith in you, but it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take breaks. I'm hearing it's okay to take breaks from, like, checking everything off your to-do list. Like, it's just like, give yourself space to just be and not expect anything of yourself, especially when it comes to helping others. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from. And the bottom deck, step out of your comfort zone. Yeah, I think that you get pushed out of your comfort zone a lot for your soul evolution, but it's like, I think Spirit is kind of just letting you know that there's such a gentle love they have for you, and that they're always going to have your back and keep you safe when you feel overwhelmed, like with this 9 of Wands. I'm getting the energy of someone who can feel kind of overwhelmed by their destiny, whether or not you've kind of pinpointed what that means for you and your missions in life, so to speak. It's just kind of like, it's okay to take your time, and we're going to keep you on the right track. That type of vibe. And now I'm going to pull a Lost Oracle about your intuitive abilities, please, Spirit. Elixir 10, your wish is granted. Okay. So some of y'all could have great manifesting abilities. Some of you could be into tinctures or potions or things like that in a metaphysical sense, or even holistically. I get the sense, because a lot of you are very tapped into like Mother Gaia earthly energy. Some of you could be very health conscious. So perhaps you're very intentional about what you put into your body, taking supplements and things like this. So that could be confirmation for some of you. It could also mean that something that you've wished for a long time was spiritual, like to be able to have spiritual gifts. Or that is a very loud car you might be able to hear outside. Someone's revving up the engine. That makes me think, with the wishes granted, that Spirit is revving up the engine and bringing up like wish fulfillment to you. I'm gonna get one more because I'm just feeling called to. Primordial passion, leave your mark. Yeah, this isn't meant to be intimidating or scary or make you feel pressured, but it does feel like this lifetime you're meant to really leave your mark on this world. You're making a huge impact, and I think that a lot of it can be attributed to your contribution to the wellness of this species. That's why I think a lot of you might be in careers related to helping others or the environment, or even in ways that might feel smaller to you, but, add up. I'm hearing even things like, and this is just an example, someone who, makes a commitment to, eat like things with no GMOs or things like, I know this is kind of silly, but just bear with me. Like, I'm seeing someone go to the grocery store and only buying the free-range eggs, or someone who always tips substantially when they go out to dinner. It can mean so many different things, but it's like some of your smaller actions are so well-meaning and impactful that those kind of build up good karma over time, which will aid you in being able to help other people, because that abundance that you give out comes back to you tenfold. I'm getting someone, this doesn't have to mean you're literally charitable and always giving away everything. This is just the kind of energy of someone who would make sacrifices of themselves to help other peoples or the earth, and that's really important. So, and on the bottom we have chalice of charity. Be nourished, chalice of charity. Okay, so some very charitable people here for sure, actually. But also in the sense that it comes back to you. This is reciprocal energy from spirit. Spirit is willing to rain down on you with love and support because you're doing the same for others. That's kind of how the abundance works with the heart chakra. All right, for pile number 2, Spirit, can we get some last messages from this oracle? Calm before the storm. Okay, so your spiritual energy, calm before the storm. I'm hearing prepping for battle, and I'm seeing someone prepare like a storm shelter or like a tornado shelter. So you're reliable in times of stress, or you're like naturally kind of a calming energy I got with the new moon in Cancer. Your loved ones are safe. You're someone that could be quite nurturing and able to deal with high pressure. Your spirit guides definitely come in those times. Gray rock method. Okay. So if you don't know what the gray rock method is, that's it's usually talking about narcissistic abuse, but just as a concept, it's a tactic you use when someone is manipulating you, harassing you, verbal abuse, things like this. It's when you just don't respond at all. If it's a text, you don't respond. If they talk, you're not responding, or you're keeping it very minimal, like 2 or 3 words. You're not giving into someone's BS by reacting and like feeding into whatever they're doing. So when it comes to your spiritual gifts, perhaps this is something you've mastered, or that your spirit guides are urging you to utilize more or ask for their support on. It's kind of an interesting card to get in this context, isn't it? Air signs. We could have some air signs here. You could have an air sign in your north node, I'm hearing. Your ancestors celebrate your successes and milestones. Okay, so you're very celebrated by your ancestors and your spirit guides, like on a spiritual level. The life you've lived so far itself, it's like more than enough. Your spirit guides are so proud of you. This is definitely a push to keep going. You've incarnated on Earth before. Yeah, that makes sense, especially finishing out these cycles. Like, it feels like a lot of your soul missions or your experiences, your soul lessons here, have culminated from other lives you've lived here on this planet. Possibly even in your same bloodline in the past, I'm hearing. Rapid ascension. Yes. Okay, so you're ascending a lot spiritually. You're activating your senses. Yeah, this is really beautiful. You're becoming more aware of your gifts as well. This is a time in your life where your spirit guides are helping you ascend, to prepare you for your upcoming like soul mission. Is this Lyran or Lyran? Lyran starseed origins. So definitely look into that. I'm not super knowledgeable on starseeds, but I've looked into it and know about a lot of the different types, and I wrote some of these down in this deck because I know that comes up for a lot of people. A lot of people resonate with them. I know that starseed realm has to do with feline characteristics and big cats, like that kind of energy coming up for people. So you could have a connection to cats or big cats. That's like a small part of it, but it's just what I can remember, and that's why I'm saying it. Pay attention to your dreams. Definitely getting signs from your dreams. Also on the bottom of the deck, I just saw we have rainbow. So rainbows could be a sign from your spirit guides. Let's get one more spirit, please, or 2. That works too. Gratitude. Okay, so gratitude practices will be really helpful in your spiritual journey, and possibly has to do with some of the lessons you're learning this lifetime. But I'm also hearing to have gratitude for yourself, for getting yourself this far, and gratitude to Spirit for helping you get there. Like, there's just a lot to be thankful for when it comes to your spiritual abilities. And a lot of it has to do with your resilience to get to the point where you are now. It's like your higher self is very grateful for you. It's almost the energy of getting body piercings. That could be a last little confirmation for someone watching. If you have body piercing or multiple body piercings, right pile. So I'm going to finish out your reading with flipping to a poem in my Poet's Tarot book. So thanks so much for coming to your reading. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, but stick around for this poem, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, Spirit, bring me to a page for pile number 2. They need to hear right now. So this is the Queen of Golds, also known as the Queen of Pentacles. Do not be afraid of the Queen of Golds. Real quick, I just remembered we pulled the equivalent to the Queen of Pentacles in that deck for you earlier. Just saying. Okay, do not be afraid of the Queen of Golds. The expression you guess in her features is not sadness and certainly not disapproval. She gives. Her gift might be the best you'll have received, but you are the one to set the value of her gift. Do you find your acceptance of her gift costly? Do you perhaps think that the gift is worthless as given to you? Do you still need others to set the true price to her present, even though it is not for them? The sadness of expression you see in the Queen's face is your own. You have come to yourself, but do not yet know it. And you don't know it because it is only now that you are ready, primed to know it. What is all this? What does the Queen's oracle mean? You may be tired of these questions, and rightly so, for your exploration has been long. Quit now and be happy for what you have achieved. But if something pushes you to further knowledge, turn your ear inwards and listen to the voices. In any case, give your soul the bread of wisdom. Silence. All right, pile number 2, that was your reading. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Love ya. Hi, pile number 3s. So if you chose the Garnet, then this will be your message. And before we get into your intuitive gifts, your psychic gifts, I'm going to roll these astro dice to get confirmation for some of y'all of your signs. Okay, so we have North Node. We have the 7th house, which is Libra, and Libra. So double Libra. There's a lot of Libras here. I didn't show that right. Yep, there's Libra. And with the North Node, you could have a Libra North Node or North Node in the 7th house. And if one of your signs didn't come up here, that's okay. Don't let it discourage you from this message being your own. That's just meant as extra confirmation. But some of y'all could have North Node in the 7th house, a Libra North Node, or Libra in your big 3. So that being said, we are going to pull some tarot cards to get this started. So for pile number 3, Spirit, tap me into their intuitive gifts and their psychic abilities. Okay, so you got the Bell Witch, which is the High Priestess in traditional tarot. So we got some witches here. Okay, very powerful energy. We have the 3 of Ghosts, which is also the 3 of Swords. And because of these graves here, I'm definitely getting some passed on loved ones or maybe even some mediumship abilities in your energy. Oh, wow. Definitely that. And we have the 5 of Ghosts, which is also the 5 of Swords, but such a beautiful card. Like your ancestors, your passed on loved ones, maybe even those who are not even in your family, like it's like you can literally see other spirits in the room, or you've had experiences where you could feel that. Can you see that? Sometimes it doesn't always focus, but that card is just beautiful. So right off the bat, I'm getting someone who could have some mediumship abilities, could have some very spiritual ancestors around you. You could be very tapped in to your ancestors. They're definitely there to support you. I'm getting mediumship very heavily. Or perhaps just a very, like an interest in the dead, or Some of y'all could even be funeral directors or morticians and things like this. Very heavy Scorpio energy here. There's air sign energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. We also have with the High Priestess Pisces. So I'm going to pull a couple more. Definitely think I got a lot of witches in this pile, a lot of psychics. I get a couple more. I'm also hearing my head spirit being like, they know already. Like, you know your gifts already, but spirit's like, okay, let's get into it. Skeptic of Portals, which is also the King of Cups in traditional tarot. Okay, so very psychic energy. The energy of like equilibrium between the mind and the heart. So Zen, like some of y'all could meditate a lot. Some of y'all could have been into Buddhism at some point. Meditation seems to be important, or maybe spirit is urging you to try this. And on the bottom, we have the 10 of Knockers, which is also the 10 of Wands, which brings to mind, it feels like you're carrying a lot right now. And it feels like connecting with your spiritual gifts and your spirit guides and things like this are kind of taking a load off your shoulders, or perhaps your spirit guides are calling you to ask them to help you get some weight off your shoulders. I'm also getting that the past, especially regarding your family, there could be a lot of trauma or like heavy themes. You could have been like the responsible one in your family. You could have been a survivor of some familial trauma, or losing a family member, family members. Even I'm getting the energy of someone who might have had a troubled childhood. I just heard, what's that show called? Timmy, like the Fairly Odd Parents show. I want to say the boy's name in that is Timmy, but like you might have a connection to the Fairly Odd Parents. It's just confirmation for someone. I'm also getting that show Yellow Jackets, so some of y'all could watch that or connect to that somehow. But next we're going to get into some Moonology oracles. All right, Spirit, for pile number 3. Tap me into their psychic gifts. This very witchy psychic pile I have with me here. Please, Spirit, for pile number 3. Tap me into their abilities. What do they need to know about their abilities? Ooh. New moon eclipse. Expect powerful change. Okay, you are a spiritual powerhouse. Hello. You bring change wherever you go. You can feel your power in the room. Like, oh my God. Okay. Balance spirituality and practicality. That's kind of what the energy I was talking about with the skeptic of portals, or the King of Cups. Okay, you're very in tune with the Zen vibes, the meditation. Like you're able to meditate and kind of access other energies, access your higher self, things like this. Confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. Okay. I get this from your higher self and also your spirit team. You are very confident coming into this world. I mean, looking back when you were a child, it's possible. You remember yourself as being very fearless and bold, and maybe you love to be the center of attention as a kid. Like there's the energy of someone, like a soul coming into their body, into this world, knowing that they can fulfill what they need to in this life, believing in themselves, and spirit's kind of calling you to tap into that energy. Because the world does tend to break down our confidence as we live it, as we grow up. We experience some real hardships. Some of us experience bullying growing up. We experience all sorts of trauma in our lifetimes. It's different for everyone, but no one comes out of this world unscathed, right? Even if you're like a celebrity surrounded by yes people, like no one's don't believe that anyone's confident 100% of the time. It's just not true. But I'm getting that energy like on that your spirit team has the utmost faith in you, and to be really confident in your abilities, your psychic gifts, because they are strong. It's clear as day. You're a very strong spiritual healer. You have the ability to help others. You have the ability to change lives with your gifts, people. Okay? Like, this is intense in the best way. Like, I almost have chills. Like, I almost want to meet you or talk to you and just, like, understand your gifts. Also, for some of you, it might be a good idea to get some kind of spiritual mentor, or even to find, someone you can learn from, like whether like reading their books or watching YouTube videos or something. Like, there might be a mentor out there for you, or someone you can even look up to that would help you on your journey. What do we have on the bottom? What do you need to release? Waning moon. I think that that's kind of speaking to what I was saying about releasing self-doubt. But also, this could be a call to do some cleansing. Us psychic baddies, we got to cleanse, right? We feel a lot of energy. It's really important to have spiritual hygiene. And, it's a full moon as I'm filming this. That's a good time to do some kind of cleansing ritual, even just to take a shower and just kind of imagine a white light pouring down you. There's so many different ways. Go on a walk in the rain. It is raining outside as I film this. I'm feeling so called to just go for a walk in the rain. That sounds so good. Anyway, I'm going to keep going into your reading. So for pile number 3, Spirit, let's get some messages about their gifts. Please, Spirit, for pile number 3. Pierce the Veil. Some of y'all could have liked that band. Whenever I see this card, I think of that. I never got super into them, but that was a band, especially around in the earlier 2000s. Pierce the Veil, Move Beyond Illusion, or 2010s maybe it was. Furnace, Take Action. See how these are both triangles? For those of you who are into astrology, it could be a hint this pile is for you, or help you understand your spiritual gifts more. Trines in your chart, like the aspects of the trines. So real quick, I'm going to explain what that is. In astrology, a trine is when a sign in a planet, like say your sun is in Gemini, a trine is when another planet, say the moon, that sign is in the same element. So let's say you have sun in Gemini and moon in Aquarius. Those would trine each other because those are both air signs. So you could have a lot of signs in the same element as your chart, because I said air, that could be it. But you could just have a lot of strong trine aspects, which are very harmonious aspects to have in the chart. If you're into astrology, if you're not, don't worry. But in like a general context in this reading, just seeing that triangle makes me think of harmony as well. So different parts of yourself working very well together. And moving beyond illusion and taking action are very powerful cards to get next to each other. I mean, look at this imagery. I dropped it. Here's the veil. Oh, I should pick that up, shouldn't I? And Furnace. Take action. I love how y'all literally made me take action by picking up that card. Anyway. So you're here to cut through the BS. This is Ace of Swords energy, huge air sign energy here. I keep saying air because there's air sign energy all over this reading. You're here to bring truths. You're here to be authentic to yourself. I'm getting some of you might expose some harsh things in your lifetime, both for others, people's benefit and your own. A lot of epiphanies I'm getting. I'm also hearing rooting for the underdog. So you could feel like the underdog people have rooted for in your life, and you could also play that role in other people. There's the energy of not in like a spiritual sense, but like here on earth, you might have had times where you were an underdog. Wow. Some of y'all could work with underworld energies. I don't know what that was. But just that energy of, in a spiritual sense, you're a hero, or at least your guides view you as such, or that you just have this kind of, like, I'm seeing Hercules, like the Disney Hercules movie, and also just like Greek mythology. Like, you're very connected to some, maybe Greek gods, because I said that, or just really powerful deities that are on your side, and you are definitely earning your right as a powerful spiritual healer. I'm not saying you're a god. Chill. Like, I feel like it's what it's sounding like. What I'm trying to say is that you're connected to some very powerful energies. You're here to do important work, and sometimes people come at you to try and lower your self-worth because they see the energy around you. They see how you inspire other people. They could be intimidated by you and the truth you walk in every day. There's definitely some energy of some people who have been like bullied or manipulated a lot in their lives in the past, and like needing to hear that your spiritual gifts are untouchable. No one's ever going to be able to touch that, basically. And on the back, we have Chalice of Charity, be nourished. Oh my god, and the triangle. Holy crap. That's not in all the cards. Like, these must be like the only cards, or maybe like 3 out of 4. Yeah. I'm not seeing any other triangles. You got a bunch of triangles. What does it mean? I mean, also the elements, like, there's the different symbols. I'll put an image if I remember of what I'm talking about. But like earth, air, fire, with like the lines and stuff, I think they're all connected to different elements, and sometimes I forget that. I talked about the trines earlier, but so we have the upside down triangle, we have this one, and then we have one of the triangles with a line through it. So one of y'all will be able to piece that together for me or know what I'm talking about. If not, who it's meant for, it will reach. And again, I'll try and remember to put in an image or like in the description of what I'm talking about. So now we're going to get into some specific messages for my collective with my deck right here. All right, Spirit, for pile number 3, tap me into their spiritual gifts. Whoa. Birthmark. Okay, so some of you could have a birthmark that would give you, that could be confirmation for some of you spiritually. It could be, I'm also like hearing about palm reading and things like that. Like, there, you could have some kind of mark on your body that has spiritual significance. Banishing spell. Okay, so that could be a call for some of you to do a banishing spell. We have Aphrodite. Some of you could work with Aphrodite or be connected to Aphrodite in some way. Maybe she's calling out to you now. What else do we have for pile number 3, Spirit? Whoa. Time for a social media break. Okay, so some of you could need a little social media detox. I think we all need that sometimes. I think like the banishing spell and time for a social media break, you could just have some negative energy online, and Spirit's like, black salt. Protect your energy. Do a return to sender. Your spirit guides are kind of letting me know that there's some harsh energy online, or maybe just doom scrolling or like the news or something like that on your phone. It's like it's affecting your energy, and Spirit's kind of nudging you to protect yourself from that and get away from it. Definitely a return to sender for some of you, for someone who might be giving you crap online. Grandmother. Okay, so your grandmother, you could, maybe for one of you could have a grandmother that's been messaging you online and it's been not so nice. But I think for a lot of you could have like a passed on grandmother that is reaching out to you right now, or that is, that you're in touch with now, that maybe she's very spiritual and is helping you on your journey. There's just like something about a grandma being important. Gratitude. Okay, your grandma's telling you that she's grateful for you and encouraging you to like find joy and just like take stock of all the great things in your life right now. I'm getting that there's a lot to be thankful for, and the more it's kind of the more you're grateful, the more you'll notice things to come in, like that kind of abundance energy. Abandonment issues. So some of you could relate with abandonment issues. Maybe this has to do with the grandma too. I don't know. But this is an area of shadow work you could work on with your spirit guides. That could be causing some blockages, not necessarily blockages, but like using your spiritual gifts to address that for shadow work is going to be really helpful and healing for you. Fairy energy. Some of you could have fae ancestors or connect with the fae. And again, a lot of air sign energy, because I think of air signs when I think of fairies. So there's that. Lots of air signs. Okay, let me get one more. Please, Spirit. Beauty beyond compare. And with Aphrodite, first of all, with the grandmother and Aphrodite, there's something about someone having a very beautiful grandmother, or grandmother just wanting you to know how beautiful you are. Maybe a grandma who would have like a very endearing term for you and your beauty, like calling you a doll. You know, it could mean a lot of different things for different people. It's very beautiful energy. Also, you could have that kind of grandmother energy to people, I'm hearing, like it's like being the mom friend, but like having this profound wisdom and also just like a very cozy energy. Like I'm picturing someone making cookies and watering their plants and things. That's really sweet. Okay, I want to get one more actually. Part of me is like, I love your energy. I don't want to get out of it yet. Thunderstorm. So next time it could be a thunderstorm while you're watching this. I don't know, but some of you could be being called to collect storm water or work with thunderstorms in your magic somehow. Or this could be even calling, because you had the, let me make sure. I think you had, new moon eclipse, and then with the thunderstorm, there's a lot of like weather, like powerful imagery that has come through in your reading, and so I'm wondering if that speaks to your very intense energy that's like you're able to change lives, you're able to change timelines even, I'm hearing. I'm also hearing something about Zeus, like the Greek god Zeus, and like the lightning bolts. And vulnerability. There's a lot of spiritual power in your vulnerability, because to be authentic, like I said earlier, you're a very authentic person, but to be authentic, you have to be able to be vulnerable to a degree. And Spirit is saying to have confidence in this, because being confident in the authentic, true you is also coming to terms with your vulnerabilities that set you apart and make you beautiful and make you stand out, and not just like a cookie cutter version of societal beauty bullshit, you know? Like you're so much deeper than external beauty. It runs so deep into your very spirit, into the energy you create. Like I also just saw serpents, I saw butterflies, like very deeply spiritually transformative energy. Like it's almost giving me chills. And I'm also seeing like it coming out of like a tunnel, like these snakes and these butterflies, and it's dark, but then it's like light and it's like a blue sky, and they're coming out, and it's, yeah, this is wild. Y'all are very powerful, and I'm kind of obsessed. But I have to end off this reading, so I'm going to end off this reading with flipping to a page in my A Poet's Tarot book, just to kind of close off the reading with. Let's see, for pile number 3, Spirit, please give me a poem. Pile number 3. Okay, let's see, what is this for? 4 of Gold, so that's the 4 of Pentacles, and the poem goes as follows. Work is not everything. When well planned, it leaves a space in its middle. The 4 gold coins that form the basis of your effort move to the corners. In that center, some new symbols appear. What do they say? They are hard to read. A journey is now offered to you. Is it an actual journey, or is it the mercurial instability of the universe? Hard to tell. They will not change the disposition of the heavens. Those who run across the seas, the poet Horace said. But there are seas, and there are means to go across them, as there are also anchors to stabilize the shift. The journey could be a subterfuge to slow down change. It could also be the opportunity you need. If your house is in good order, undertake it. Sail forth. All right, pile number 3s, I love you. That was your reading. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. It means the world to me. I want to hear from you. Thanks for letting me into your energy, pile number 3s. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are powerful. Believe in yourself. Keep creating magic as you do in your daily life. And I love you. See you next time.